I watched with grave concern the events of 2009 and 2011, those tragic events, and they only reinforced to me what I believe is the best opportunity for everyone: the rapid and safe removal of the MEK from Iraq. That the best way to facilitate this is the removal of the MEK from the list of terrorist organizations.
You know, the appalling thing about this whole episode was that on Monday there was a press conference in Washington at the State Department, and a senior official from the State Department told the press, "We, the United States, are proud to support this group coming from Baghdad to Brussels. The State Department were proud to support a delegation that contained an alleged murderer." Well, you know, you've heard a lot today about the behavior of the State Department. You've heard a lot about how low they have stooped, but this really was scraping the barrel. The designation by the United Nations of Camp Liberty as a temporary transit location is completely bogus. People have been there for 4 months. It's a refugee camp. It must be redesignated, and their rights must be completely adhered to.
Action by the European Union to accept resettlement in Europe of the residents. Action by the United Nations to accelerate the procedure of granting the status of asylum seekers for the residents. We want action, no more excuses, no more delays, no more lies, no more appeasement. Action, action, we want action. Before I leave this podium, I have something very important to do. I am honored to present to President Rajavi a statement. This statement has been signed by thousands of members of the European Parliament, of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, of many national parliaments across the world in support of the resistance under her leadership.
The former Speaker, Newt Gingrich, had hoped to be with us this afternoon, but unfortunately his flight was cancelled. So he wants to send his very best wishes to this conference, and he wants it known that he will do everything he possibly can to help with the situation.
Is there any country in Europe that could gather so many young people together for democracy, to protect democracy in their own country? Probably not. But the people of Iran want democracy. The people of Iran are entitled to democracy. And the people of Iran will get democracy as a result of your determination.
And I welcome President Rajavi's commitment to peaceful struggle, and with the support like she has here today, I know that the future for Iran, just like the future for Ireland and the people of our planet, is a great future.
For it is incumbent that all of the organizations that are here today continue to bring pressure to bear on that Iraqi government to do the right thing.
A short time ago, I sat in a courtroom and had to restrain myself as I heard my soldiers and myself denigrated by an attorney who said we didn't do our job at Camp Ashraf. And I listened as he said the soldiers there never fully inspected. They never found any of the weapons that were there, and they were denied access to certain areas. Well, let me tell you, it was my responsibility to conduct those searches. And I used this very map to ensure that every square meter of Camp Ashraf was inspected.
As the first anti-terrorism officer for all coalition forces in Iraq, and later as the base commander of Camp Ashraf, I assure everyone the PMOI is not a terrorist organization.
We must defend the residents of Ashraf in liberty. We must defend what is right. We must defend freedom. We must take the MEC off the terrorist list.
I will ask actually Ambassador Bob Joseph, and Undersecretary Philip Crowley to come up here from the United States of America. Bob Joseph, he is the U.S. Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security until 2007 and Special Envoy for Nuclear Non-Proliferation. Undersecretary Philip Crowley, Assistant Secretary of State from 2009 to 2011.
We must, instead of appeasement and accommodation, protect the lives of those at Camp Ashraf and Camp Liberty who remain in constant danger. We need to delist the MEK, not only because it is the legally appropriate thing to do, it is also smart policy.
100,000 of you came here today because you believe in democracy, freedom, and change. I am here to tell you that we hear you in the United States. And even more importantly, the regime in Tehran hears you as well, which is why they fear you as they do. Now, one of the curious aspects of the State Department's position on the MEK is when it looks at a country in transition, it looks at an opposition and says, is the opposition organized? I think we know the answer to that question. Is the opposition united? We know the answer to that question. Does the opposition believe in democracy? We know the answer to that question. Is the democracy inclusive? We know the answer to that question. So as you cry for freedom, they even hear you in Foggy Bottom. We know what needs to be done when we leave here. We need to go out and get it done.
And so this is the business of Western officials and those who support the Iranian people and free societies, to recognize the distortions by the MOIS about the MEK, to support delisting the MEK, and to champion straightforward Western norms in Iran, and to call for an end to the abuse of thousands of refugees in camps Ashraf and Liberty.
The people of Camp Ashraf and the people of Camp Liberty deserve freedom. They deserve freedom of movement. They deserve to live without the constant threat from the Iraqis who are there ostensibly to protect them.
The terrorist designation for the MEK was never accurate and should be lifted and will be lifted.
Comme souvent dans le monde en difficulté, ce sont les femmes qui sont les premières à réagir, les premières à résister, les premières à faire face. Les femmes, pourtant tellement méprisées, sont fortes. Elles le seront de plus en plus partout dans le monde. Et parmi elles, une femme a assumé totalement le rôle d'un leadership exemplaire, Mariam Rajavi, par le courage et la perspicacité qu'on lui reconnaît, a su montrer la voie de la résistance durable face à un régime qui se caractérise par sa misogynie.
Aujourd'hui, les femmes et les hommes d'Ashraf et de Liberty représentent un Iran que nous aimons, que nous admirons, un Iran qu'il faut soutenir, un Iran de la résistance au Mollah, et c'est aujourd'hui que se prépare l'élection présidentielle iranienne de 2013.
Albania is a strange country, and for Europeans, for our multiculturalism. we love Iran and the story of Iran. But I must say that this is the first time that we came in such activity. This time we have come only 2. Next, we will come 20.
Let the world hear the voices of all of us here in Paris today. If this movement, with its popular base, all of you, organization and leadership, does not represent the Iranian people, who does represent the Iranian people?
Nous sommes ici tous venus des 4 coins du monde avec des sensibilités diverses. Chacune et chacun avec ses convictions, chacune et chacun avec ses valeurs. Mais nous avons un point commun. Ce qui nous réunit ici aujourd'hui à Paris, c'est notre solidarité sans faille avec le peuple héroïque d'Iran. Le pari que nous faisons tous ensemble avec la présidente de l'OMPI, avec Mariam Rajavi.
Dear friends, it's a great pleasure for me to be here tonight representing a group of Nordic parliamentarians and from Estonia who are here to show you that we are your friends. Let's hope that next time we meet after October 1st, the delisting issue will be history.
Your victory will come soon. You are the real alternative. The real alternative, you will all go back to your homeland, a pacifist and democratic Iran. Vive l'Iran libre, and may God bless you.